Hey, what's going on? JD here, and I have a quick unboxing for you. Today we are unboxing the SuperRep Cycle shoe from Nike. So we're just going to jump right into it. Open this guy up. So there you go. First look at the shoes. We've got some cleat attachments there, as well as there are the shoes. Looking pretty nice, a nice bright orange and black. So let's get these out and get this box out of the way. And I will give you some initial impressions of the shoe. So first thing I noticed right off the hop is they are quite a bit flexible. Let's get this paper out of here. We'll be able to feel a lot better. They are quite soft. For those of you who cycle a fair bit, you know, rigid is something that you like. But the goal of these shoes, because they are used for spin cycling, so indoor on your Peloton or at spin class, is to have that breathability. So if we take a nice close look, you can see that it is a mesh there, and that material is quite thin, so I imagine it's going to be breathable. We've also got the two straps, Velcro straps, to tighten you down, one up high and one up low. And we're going to take a look at the base. So the base, unlike a lot of cycling shoes, which is typically a solid, stiff flank in there, are two separate pieces. There is just sort of the nylon material in between the plastic. You can see where the cleat mounts are. The anti-skids are nice and rubbery. In fact, I think they are actually really decent, especially if you're going to be walking inside on hardwood floors or in a studio or something along those lines. So what we're going to do is we're going to install the cleats. So you will notice that you have the option to do, of course, 3 bolts SPD. We're going to do the 3 bolts. We are going to put on the Look Delta cleats. So it's going to be a 3-point installation. So what we're going to do is, first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull out that insole, and you can see, you know, nice bits of venting on that SuperRep, kind of cool designs on there. Not that you are ever going to see any of that. And then what we're going to do is we are going to reach in, and we're going to have to undo the straps for this. And there is a foam insert in there. We're going to just kind of push from the bottom and get it out. And you're going to pull out this little tab. And that's going to allow you to put the cleats in there. And actually, I don't know if you can see it through the camera, but you can see that it is actually quite see-through. A fair bit of mesh in the material. So these will be quite breathable. What you can also hopefully see, I don't know if you can see that or not, but inside, across the whole base of it, it is a hard plastic. So as I mentioned before, potentially, you know, with this plastic across here, you want something a lot more rigid, but there is a rigid shank in there. So these should actually be quite good. So we're going to need these guys here. So we're just going to cut that off. And we're going to take out the 3 bolts, and we're going to place that inside the shoe. And of course, we're going to need to line that up with the holes. So things to note when you are installing these is this flat side, and then there is the indented side, flat side up towards where your foot would sit. These will poke through. And once you've got that in, you can probably insert the sole back in just to kind of hold that in place. It will hopefully make it a little bit easier for you to install. So you're going to need, of course, Allen keys. If you've installed shoes before, you should have the keys for that. These cleats do not, or sorry, these shoes do not come with cleats. So what we're going to do is we're going to install these cleats. So just like any other, you're going to want to kind of have the curvature. If you've installed cleats before, you're going to want, to place them in a very similar fashion to you where you had them before. Me, myself, I like the curvature to be on the ball of my feet. So we're going to try to center that and keep that as straight as possible. Of course, you've got your washer and then your bolts. So we're just going to pop the bolt in there and hopefully get that lined up nice and easy and get that first screw in just nice and loose. Okay. And as you've seen, I've just unboxed these. So what I'm going to do is actually have my fingers in there and push these to get them out. With the foam, it doesn't just quite reach. So we're just going to loosely tighten these in. Hand tighten, and we're going to do that for each of these bolts. Got that in. And finally, get that last one in there. Like I said, we'll just hand tighten these initially, and then we'll just kind of line up the cleat where we want it to be. You want to keep, in my case, I like to keep them relatively straight, and I like sort of where it starts to bend here right on the ball of my feet. It may take a little bit of adjustment each time. And there are things that you can do when you are installing the cleats. One is you can add a little bit of grease to the bolts, especially if you're going to go outside. It's just going to help stop the bolts from seizing. Or if you are a profuse sweater, you might want to do that as well. It'll just help it when you go to put new cleats on, help it break free. It also helps keep the cleats in place a little bit. But to be honest, I don't do this with my road cleats. I don't do it with my indoor cleats. I just, bolt them in. And what I'm doing is I am just going to tighten things up a little bit at a time, just get it to the point where it's just starting to get tight, and then I'm going to go from bolt to bolt and slowly turn, maybe a quarter turn, just to get those cleats where I want them. And then I'm going to go do a test ride and ultimately see if I'm comfortable and make the adjustments as need be. If you watched my Peloton shoe cleat installation and unboxing, you will see I talk about, pedaling toe down or heel back, where you kind of want your cleat position. Same thing goes for this. So that's looking relatively straight as far as things go, and you can see that these are going to be quite nice. And all you have to do now is put the insole back in. So there you go. That is a quick unboxing of the Nike SuperRep Cycle shoes, valued at $160 Canadian. They are a nice feeling pair of shoes, nice and light. So if you were looking for a light, breathable pair, I would not use these out on the road. I would like something probably with a little bit more rigidity in the sole if I was going to be cycling outside. So thanks again. We will have a long-term review of these shoes in the future. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button so you get notifications. And until next time, see ya.